Hi everybody, it's Claire back with another art journal video. I'm playing in the beautiful reproduction ledger journal from Dina Wakley. Apparently I've heard from Ranger that this is sold out, so it has been incredibly popular and I knew it would be. It's lovely to work in. It's got a lovely smooth cardstock style of page, very similar to the Dylusions, but it does really stand up well to lots of wet media. So although there's already interest on the background, I'm just going in with a little bit of collage paper as well. Sometimes it's nice to build lots of layers before you start, and I think it just kind of depends what mood I'm in as to whether I do this or not. I can work in all sorts of different ways, just depending on how quickly I want to get going with the page that I'm going to do. So I am using, this is one of the new collage papers. This is the Antiquities one that came out with this release. And I'm using some of Dina's normal gel medium just to stick that down as well. Okay, so now that's nice and dry, I'm going to create some dribbles, rainbow dribbles going down my page. So I'm using a nice big fat round brush and I'm popping some paint up there, and then I'm going to spritz it with some water and just allow that to travel down the page, just to create that kind of splash of colour at the top of my page. And then, perfect, dry that one and then move on a little, we'll dry it a little bit and then move on to my next colour. So the reason for drying it was just to kind of make sure that I didn't get any nasty muddy colours happening, and also because I can be a bit prone to sticking my arm in colours when I'm in the middle of creating. I quite often decorate my clothes with paint as well. So yeah, I'm going to work my way along the across the top of my journal and just add those colours as I go along and allow them to drip down the page. It's fun. It's not very much control with what happens with this, so you have to kind of be open to the fact that your drips might not quite go where you want them to go and they might run all over, but it kind of doesn't matter with this effect. This is a nice way to get some colour on your page, but also you can see that a lot of that background is still visible. One of the lovely things about this ledger journal is that you've already got that beautiful writing in the background. So yeah, I think there might be some fights breaking out when those ledger journals come back in stock at Ranger. So I have used Ruby, Tangerine, Mustard, Lime, Turquoise, I think, Iris and Raspberry. Raspberry is a beautiful deep pink colour, which is almost kind of getting closer to the ruby colour. So I added a bit of raspberry at the top of the ruby as well at the side. Next I'm going in with one of the coaster stencils and just adding a little bit of stenciling over the top of those kind of drippy colours at the top, just to bring a little bit more interest and dimension to those. I'm going to do that working all the way across the top of my page. So then I'm going to use the new vintage moon face stamps and stamp out 3 faces that I can make into very tall people in a paper doll style. It's a really nice, easy way to create that kind of human element using stamps like this. There are lots of other Dina's stamps that would work perfectly well for doing this with as well. So yeah, just going to add those to the top. I'm just using that little tool that one of my art journal lovers bought for me to help get some pressure through those stamps. I'm just one of those people who isn't always that good at stamping, so when I get a good image like that, I'm like, yes, get in. That's worked. It is not often the case. So now I'm just kind of going in with some white gesso and mapping out roughly where those bodies are going to go. I'm going to keep them nice and tall. I want them all to be different heights. That just brings a little bit of interest as well, because they could all be the same height, but I do like to do them at varying heights. I think it adds to the flow of your page. And you can see they've got that kind of paper doll style of body. So there's no arms. I'm not going for detail. I'm going for an idea of a figure, and that is enough. Then I'm going to use the new fantastic glue from Dina Wakley to stick these down. And I've angled the heads as well, so that just also brings a little bit more interest to the page. Okay, so once that's nice and dry, I'm then going to use a Stabilo oil pencil, a black water reactive pencil, outline those bodies, and then I am using some bits of paper to mask, and I'm using the quotes from the same stamp set and stamping those down the body. Obviously I'm going to get places where you can't read and places where you can read bits of the text, but that's okay, because it's just adding that little bit of interest to those bodies, and it means that I can use those stamps, and the stamping isn't kind of encroaching on the rest of my journal page. Now I'm just water activating those edges and pulling a bit around the faces too. I kind of like the look of that text stamped onto the body as well, the fact that you can't, I'm not sort of sat here thinking, oh, what does that say? It's just some text. So little heart stamp, I'm just stamping a little heart onto each figure. Came across this in my stash and I was like, oh, how come I've never used this before? I love it. And then I'm going to stamp out the word content. So these are the letter stamps from Dina Wakley. This page just kind of felt like it had a warm feeling about it for me, and the word that popped into my head when I started thinking about a quote to add on was the word content. So that's what I did. So I'm stamping it onto white card. Then I think I end up cutting the letters out individually. So next I'm going to use a gel pen and add a little bit of journaling up the side of each of the bodies. Just some Semic writing, so it's quite scribbly. Keep my letters quite close together, making tall and long letters. And it's just adding a little bit of journaling to my page that nobody else can read. And I won't know what it says when I come back to it, but I will know what the feeling of this page was at the time that I did it. Of course, then I'm going in with some dots as well, just to finish off that page, and probably a little bit of text stamping too. Here we go. A really simple, easy art journal page there. So thanks for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this video, and I hope to see you again soon.